welcome each of you to the regular monthly board meeting of the Garrard County Board of Education on this 21st of January. Where's that coming from? The left side needs what?
Stay on mute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you mute us? Oh, you got it. Okay. All right. Before I call the meeting to order, I'd like to also welcome our newest board member to our first regular meeting, Ms. Mary Adrian Davis. We're glad to have you with us. And, we're so glad to have you on our team. And, so at this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. And as we do each week, we start with a moment of silence. And I'd like to ask something special. If you would choose to use this time, if you'd lift up Mr. Ken Hurt and his family. He's not here tonight, and so we do have 4 board members present, but Mr. Hurt's not going to be able to be here tonight. So let's go on to the moment of silence, if you would. All right, thank you. If you would, stand with me. We wear a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. You may be seated. The next item is to adopt agenda. And does anyone have any changes that you see need to make? I would like to point out that in our consent agenda, it's going to include both A and B, which includes the treasurer's report. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Dr. Lamb moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Ms. Davis? Any other questions or comments? All in favor, please show by lifted hand, and all board members present approved. Item number 2 is communications, and Mr. Stoll, I think the first item under that is recognitions.
Thank you, Dr. Grant. Appreciate that. Our first recognition tonight will be our Garrard County Schools and Total Life They Love Teacher of the Month. Today, this month's Teacher of the Month, and board members, if you'd like to come around to the front so you can welcome her. Our Teacher of the Month this year is Sarah Horn. Sarah has always quietly gone above and beyond to support all students from the very beginning of her teaching career. She spends many hours professionally working with our teachers and teachers across the district to improve the math program. But above all, it's what many probably don't notice: the countless hours she spends with students tutoring, mentoring, or coaching. For 2 years, she coached our cross-country team without any stipend, gathering donations to pay for events and creating a team that won or placed in many of those. Mrs. Horn also spent many volunteer hours helping our academic team for years, and especially when a special needs student was his special coach. When LES experienced the loss of a student, Ms. Horn was at the forefront, taking siblings out for a special day and making sure they had what they needed for the funeral. Besides being a super teacher, she's dedicated to all students and is a great team player. So we want to congratulate Mrs. Horn for her recognition today.
Thank you.
Get in now, jump in. Jump in there. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We want to thank Total Life They Love for doing the support on a monthly basis.
The
We
board, we
appreciate
would
that.
like to thank you for sharing with us. The board appreciates
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
You all can stay. Just
What
stay.
was that say?
Thank you.
Our next group of recognition is the Garrard County Farmers National Bank Students of the Month. From Kent Dick Robinson, it's Tristan Kobernick, third grader, son of Corey and Debbie Kobernick. Tristan exhibits a positive attitude each day. He's always excited to learn and a wonderful friend of his classmates. He's the last to lead morning meets, gives suggestions for morning meet activities, and always participates in small groups. It's obvious that Tristan loves school, regardless of it being virtual or in person. Tristan will even take his laptop in the car to join meets if they're going somewhere else. And he worried when he had surgery that he couldn't join us for class. So let's congratulate Tristan on being the leader.
I'm gonna squeeze it just a little bit. All right, there you go. One, two. Thank you. Congratulations.
Yes, sir.
Our next student is Emily Potter, right?
Yes,
Is that correct? And we think attending online.
virtual.
tonight?
Chris, if you don't care, would you check and see if Emily Potter is online with us?
If not, I guess we'll just talk about
Okay. So Emily Potter is a kindergarten student at Lancaster Elementary. She's the granddaughter of Mary Potter. Emily is a student who comes to every Google Meet her teacher has and does way more work than she's assigned to do on Imagine. Mrs. Hurt offers her students weekly challenges, and she meets all of them. She loves animals and enjoys telling stories about them. Emily's fun to have in class, and she's doing great virtually. And we can't wait to have her back in person. So even though she's not with us tonight, we want to recognize and congratulate Emily Porter. Our next recognition from Paint Lick Elementary is Braylon Thorne, third grader, son of Chris and Aaron Thorne. He is always present for the morning meets and for small groups. He's prepared and excited to be with his teachers and his classmates. He joins in group conversations, always stays on task in the meets, and he turns in all of his virtual work with no complaints. So congratulations to Braylon for being the student of the month.
Next teacher. One, two. Congratulations.
And the next student should be online virtually.
So Chris, if you would care to check for us to see if Owen Gosselin is on. So, all right. So Owen Drake Gosselin is an eighth grader from Garrard Middle School. He's the son of Sean and Christy Gosselin. Drake always tries his hardest. He does all his work and asks for clarification when he needs help. He's always polite, respectful to adults and peers. Drake makes learning virtually a success for him. Drake works super hard in writing class. He always stays on and checks back in to make sure that he's on the right track with his writing and is improving, which brings me to the fact that he is constantly improving by leaps and bounds with each assignment. He also does basic nice things like turning the camera on without being asked and speaking into the microphone. His maturity and effort is greatly appreciated. So congratulations to Drake. We appreciate you joining tonight, Drake. And our final recognition tonight from Garrard County High School is Christopher Marquez Segusa. He's a ninth grader. Christopher has shown kindness, patience, and understanding during a frustrating time. He's participated in virtual and in-person class. He's been helpful to his classmates. Christopher is a fantastic student with a very high music IQ. He was a high contributing member of the marching band last year as the eighth grader, and has already been extremely impressive this year with his talent, his work ethic, his attitude, and his abilities. So congratulations to Christopher.
Make sure I can see everybody. One, two, three.
And once again, we want to thank Farmers National Bank for their support. This day has been
Very proud. Well, the next item is the site-based decision-making minutes, and we've had opportunity to look over from CDR, LES, PLES, EMS, and Garrett High School. And, Scott, do you have any comments on that?
No, just that you all have those available for you.
And also, item number C is audience comments. Do we have any audience?
We've had no one request to speak tonight.
Okay, no one requested. Then item D is board members. Do any of our board members have anything you'd like to share? Okay, if not, next, superintendent, will share with us what he had.
So we posted for you the new hires that we've had since the December board meeting. Those are available to you, as are the resignations since the December board meeting. As we shared with you the other day, and to make it official, we want to start the process of establishing a new strategic plan, vision, and mission. The current strategic plan is from 2020, and that means it's time for us to be moving forward with that. We've entered an agreement with the Kentucky Education Development Corporation, KEDC, to lead that work for us. And as we shared the other night, we certainly want board member participation at the level that you all would like that. So those of you who have contacted me to let me know, I appreciate you doing that. Dr. Jim Evans will be the one working with us through this process, and we will begin the development of the team in order to start the development of the process. We also wanted to share with you information regarding the ESSER 2 funds that we received officially last week. And so I put together just a reminder for you. It's $2.59 million for us, and that does not include the GEARS funding to be allocated. We'll share that amount with you once we know what that is. We would like to use the bulk of the funds for lost learning recovery, and part of the process for doing that will be the survey of students, parents, teachers, staff, and community to have some feedback from them as we start working through this process to determine the best way to recover any lost learning. After the survey is in, we'll be using our focus groups to review and respond to the survey. And those focus groups will be made up of our advisory councils. And so we'll pull from them. And then as a district, we will develop a plan or plans, depending on what we learn, about how to utilize that feedback from the stakeholders to be in compliance with any of the ESSER restrictions that we might have. We don't think that that's going to be a problem. And we look to include this lost learning recovery in the strategic plan. So it's happening at the same time. We want to make sure that as we're thinking about the strategic plan, that we're looping this piece in, because it's going to be a critical piece in making sure we eventually can accomplish everything that we have in that new strategic plan. So again, that's the amount of money. The survey will go out next Wednesday. It will be available for about a week. And then the following week, we plan to have the meetings with the focus groups, and hopefully by the time we come back to you all in February, we'll be able to share with you the feedback that we have. I doubt that we have a fully developed plan yet, but we'll be able to share some feedback with you. So if you have any questions about that, happy to answer.
Any board members have any questions? All right, if not, item number 3 is reports.
So Stacy is on if you need any follow-up on the treasurer's report from our working session on Monday. I'll assume silence means you're okay with that. We also want to make sure that we've updated you on bonding potential, and it was shared with us recently, as you know, that the bonding potential the board currently has is $29,585,000. That's up from last month. Again, we know that that's driven by the interest rates, and if interest rates go back up, that amount will go down. We'll continue to keep you in the loop on that so you know what you have available to you. And then you weekly approve bills, but we always put that on to make sure that we've done our due diligence about making everyone aware that that's something that you do. So I'll take you to the consent agenda.
All right. As I mentioned before, the consent agenda approves items A and B. If no one has any questions on any of these items, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Dr. Lamb made the motion. Mr. McQuarrie seconded. Are there any other questions? All in favor, let me know by lifting your hand. And all board members present approve. All right. The next item, number 5, is action agenda. And item number 8 is to approve board member job description and code of ethical conduct. Mr. Cole, would you like to speak?
Sure. Dr. Lamb reminded me back in June of the fact that this had never occurred officially by this board. And she was gracious enough to say, let's wait until January when we constitute a new board to take a look at this. And so today we have in front of you from KSBA the board job description and the code of ethical conduct. We're encouraging you to approve that tonight. And then the plus of that, as we've talked about before, since we're looking at job descriptions for everyone, this is an opportunity for our entire district to see that you all have held yourself accountable to the job description as well. I think that would be a good move for your part. So my recommendation is that you approve the board member job description and the code of ethical conduct.
You've already submitted your recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I'll so move.
Mr. McQuarrie moved. Is there a second? Ms. Davis seconded. Are there any other questions or comments? All in favor, please let me know by lifting your hand. And all board members present voted yes. Item number B.
Can we interrupt just
Oh,
one
I'm sorry.
second? I think maybe,
No, it's.
oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. You're fine. I misunderstood. So he was right.
You thought I was wrong?
I thought I was right. I was not.
Okay. All right, item number B is approve the AC Huffman Criminal Justice Scholarship. Mr. Stowe, would you like to speak to it?
So we're fortunate enough to have with us tonight Mr. Greg Huffman and Jennifer Butner. And if they would like to share any information about this, you're welcome to. If not, we can move with what we have here. Is there anything you'd like to say, Ms. Huffman?
So we're very, very happy and tickled and thrilled to death for the Huffman family to approach the school board, wanting to kind of give back to our community and as well as honor A.C. Huffman for all the contributions he made in our community. 20 years that he served as a Lancaster police chief, has a stellar record in terms of military accomplishments and things like that as well. So it just kind of warms our heart that, you know, that the family approached us a couple of months ago, Mr. Anderson, Ms. Arnold, on what they can do to kind of give back to our students and establishing a scholarship fund to honor A.C. Huffman. They do want to kind of have a pipeline for criminal justice to kind of continue to kind of honor A.C. Huffman. So we appreciate that. Faye Powers was with us as well. Unfortunately, she didn't get a chance to make that. I do think it's worth noting that is Jonathan Shell's mother. And this building would not be this building without Representative Jonathan Shell's commitment to get the grant funding for this Work Ready Skills Initiative. So I was wanting to kind of love a little bit on Jonathan Shell. So you let Faye know we bragged on him. So anything y'all like to share?
Yeah, I did want to thank Faye first for bringing up to even have his scholarship. And I think it's wonderful to keep honoring my papa as he was a great man. And I think it's great to have this in the community to be offered to the students.
So board, you have an opportunity tonight to accept this opportunity of $1,000 for a student from Garrard County High School who wants to continue in this area of supporting criminal justice. And my recommendation is that you accept this offer.
All right, you've heard your superintendent's recommendation. Mr. McQuarrie moves to accept this recommendation. Do I have a second? Ms. Davis, second. Any questions? Anybody against this?
Well, I would like to say one thing. I personally knew Mr. Clifton, which we all call him AC. And I know the family for as long as I can One story you probably haven't heard is when they passed a new law that you had to go in and do this police certification, you had to pass the firearms part. And this was after he'd been on the force for several years, and he was not as old as I am, but he was close. They all had to do it, and we went out. I had a place to shoot. We went out to put up some targets, and it didn't take very long to figure out he didn't need to practice. He just needed to get over the nervous, and he passed with flying colors and all went well. And I knew him for years after that, and I thought the world of him. I think the world of family, because I've known just about all of you for as long as I can remember. And I really appreciate you doing this for the school and his office.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no.
Thank you all.
The motion's carried. Item number C is to approve the shortened school day for elementary students. Mr. Stoll.
That's about the extent of the information we share with you, other than that this was a recommendation from the ARC. The student was on shortened school day last year. This is based on a doctor's recommendation, so we would recommend.
First superintendent's recommendation, do I hear a motion? Ms. Davis made the motion, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Dr. Lamb seconded. Any questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries with all 4 board members present voting. Item number D is to approve the consolidated district improvement plan. So,
So I'll turn this one over to Ms. Perry if she wants to provide any, just an update. As you all know, I may still, what she was going to say, that there's not been a drastic change in the consolidated school plan, but she can share about the meetings that she's had relative to giving you feedback on that.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so we had a consolidated district improvement planning meeting back in December, and we had representatives from the community. We had some parents, we had some kids, teachers, administrators, and Ms. Davis was our board member who sat in for that one and provided us some input. And we shared the results that we had from last year's assessment. So we did take the ACT in high school and we improved in all areas. And so we shared those results. We still had our academic and, our career readiness assessments. We were still able to give those. And we had a lot of students who passed their assessments, even though the pandemic occurred and they had to come in, and not quite as many as the year before, but we still did pretty well, so we were happy about that. And then we, in our access scores, which is our English language learners, we had more students qualify as English proficient than we had in years past, so that was exciting. And then we also had, there was one other area, our graduation rate. And our goal was to improve all the way up to 95%. And we kept that as our goal. But we were very close. So we got up to 94.4 for our graduation rate last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a really nice improvement we had gone from 88.2 in 17-18. To 93.7 in 18-19, and then in 19-20 we got up to 94.4. So we want to be at least 95%, but so we're getting closer and closer. Our goals are high, and because that's what our kids deserve. So we took some input from all of our stakeholders that we'll use, not just in the CDIP that we created, but also in our strategic planning meeting that Mr. Still has already talked to you about. So we have all the notes from that night, and some of it I included in our CDIP, but most of it will be moving forward for our strategic plan, because we asked a lot of things about at-risk students and social emotional learning, which really wasn't addressed in our CDIP. It was more geared towards academic areas. But this will go in our strategic plan. So it was definitely a great night, and we appreciated that feedback.
Well, thank you, Mr. Perry. We have a motion on the floor.
Not yet, we don't.
We don't have it yet, all right. Mr. McQuarrie makes a motion to approve this claim. Do I hear a second? Dr. Lamb seconds. Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. The motion is approved. Item number E is to approve the nutrition and physical activity plan. Mr. Stoll.
You all heard the results of the plan the other night. You were able to hear about the physical activity and an update on the food service. So we would recommend that you approve this. We'll submit to KDE.
All right. You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I hear a motion? I'll entertain a motion to approve this plan. Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Davis made a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Dr. Lamb seconded. Any comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion carries. Item number F is to approve the draft budget for 21-22.
Our draft budget is a roll forward from the current budget with the adjustments for step increases for staff. We'll come back to you with a cleaner budget once we see what the legislature does this year. So at this time, we'd recommend that you approve the draft budget.
Okay, you heard the superintendent's recommendation. I entertain a motion to Mr. McQuarrie moves to adopt this. Do I have a second? Ms.
I'll
Davis?
second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Second that.
Okay, Dr. Lamb seconded. Any other questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number G is to approve budget amendment to create COVID relief funds in Fund 2.
As you know, in December, we had some seat money offsets through COVID. And in order to spend that money, we paid staff. And so we needed to create a line code for that. We're asking you to create a budget amendment for us today to create the COVID relief funds in Fund 2.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation. Do I hear a motion to adopt this? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have to go through the revision. Ms. Davis makes the motion. Do I have a second? Second. All right. Mr. McQuarrie made a second. Do we have any other questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion carries. Item number H is to approve budget amendment to move general funds to COVID relief funds in Fund 2. Mr. Scott.
So the fund that you just created now needs to have some money put in it. So we're asking you to approve a budget amendment to move the funds from the general funds into that COVID relief fund.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. I entertain a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Mr. McQuarrie, do I have a second? Ms. Davis, second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The motion carries. Item number I is to approve Board of Education meeting dates for 2021. Mr. Stoll.
To comply with the policy that is in our handbook, we need to make sure that we establish this for the following year. As you all know, we did this back in May, but to do this correctly now, we need to do this in January. So we haven't changed any of the expectations. The third Thursday of each month, the Monday prior to that, 5 o'clock on Monday, 6 o'clock on Thursday.
Okay. Do your motion to adopt this, to approve this meeting dates.
Make a motion.
Mr. McQuarrie, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Dr. Lamb made a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number J is to approve pay application number 1 for the middle school intercom project. Mr. Stoll.
American Sound and Electronics has requested $51,300 for work they completed on the GMS intercom project, and we recommend that you approve that pay application.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion? Davis made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Dr. Lamb made the second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The motion carries. Item number K is to approve pay application number 2 for the middle school exterior door project. Mr. Stoll.
Schiller Architect Hardware is requesting payment in the amount of $75,021.89 for work on the middle school exterior door project. And we recommend you approve that pay application.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion to approve this? All right, Mr. McCord, I have a second. Ms. Davis, second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. All right, the motion carries. Mr. Stoll, item number L, approve pay application for number 3 for the canopy project.
So Momentum Construction is requesting payment in the amount of $76,119.30 for work on the canopy project, and we would recommend approval of the pay application.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to pay the
Dr. Lamb made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. McCord made a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. All right, the motion carries. Item number M is to approve a change order on the canopy project. Mr. Stoll?
Due to the weather conditions, they requested 13 additional days. It's no cost to the board for this change order, and we would recommend that you approve that change order request.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. I'll entertain a motion. Ms. Davis, I have a second.
I'll say.
Dr. Lamb seconded. Any questions or comments? All right, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. The motion carries. Item number N, if you noted on the updated agenda, has been added, and it's to approve a change order for the middle school exterior door project. Mr. Stoll, would you speak to that?
Absolutely. We did a BG1 revision, but in order to make sure that everything is in line, we need a change order also. Remind you that that is an add of $66,000, but that's not a general fund add. That is money that came from the state this year for Safe Schools edition. So it's the best use of funds that we could have, and this will move from being just an exterior door project to include an interior door project as well. So we would recommend you approve this change order.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendations. I'll entertain a motion. Mr. McQuarrie, do I have a second?
I'll say.
Dr. Lamb seconded. Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. The motion is carried. Item number O is to approve emergency certification for the remainder of the school year. Mr. Stowe, would you share what that's?
We have a teacher whose certification lapsed in December. He was part of the Option 6 program. In order to continue for the remainder of the year, we would ask that you approve this. The individual's been made aware of the reduction in pay that this brings, and we expect him to correct this by the end of this coming semester. So we recommend approval of this emergency certification.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. I'll entertain a motion. Ms. Davis made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll say.
Dr. Lamb seconded. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. The motion is carried. Item number P is to approve donation from the city of Lancaster for project graduation. So,
Lancaster City is offering $1,000 for project graduation, and to comply with your board policy 4.61, you need to accept this amount. Principal can't do that. So we would encourage you to accept this $1,000 donation.
encouraged.
We would. We will encourage it.
You've heard the superintendent's encouragement. I'll entertain a motion. Ms. Davis made a motion. Mr. McCray seconded. Any questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. Motion is carried. And the superintendent is happy.
He is. He is.
Item number Q is the first reading of the revised job description for Garrard County Schools.
So this doesn't require an action on your all's part tonight. You have those job descriptions in front of you that we've addressed. We are preparing to send those back out to our staff for any final revisions on their part. And then you have between now and the next reading to make any adjustments that you'd like to see. At the next meeting, we will have hopefully a recommendation for you to approve all of those, to bring all of those in line. And then we'll post those to the webpage.
Good. All right. Well, I don't see any other items on there. Mr. Stowe, would you share with us who shared these trees for us for
believe it was Linville Insurance Agency, and they happen to have a connection to understanding the life of the board members. She has just been elected as board chair in Madison County, so she appreciates all the work that you all do. She wanted to make sure that she shared her appreciation by providing you all this tonight.
The board thanks you.
Thank you.
All right, there,
Before we adjourn, may I say something?
you sure can.
I will, don't look scared.
Ask
I
up.
think so great. I just want to say that this is the first, this meeting is the culmination of the process of completing the work for the month of January, or hopefully through the month of January. And I want to thank you for that. It's different being on the side and seeing the process and the time and the homework that goes into the preparations of these meetings and the training. So I wanted to thank you for that. I'm honored to serve our schools, our staff, our community, and I want you to know I'm available to you. And then I want to back up and say on the CDIP, I wasn't quick enough to respond, but having been involved with so many CDIPs over the years, and actually when that process actually began, I wanted to say that Kayla and Laura had just did a wonderful job with a virtual meeting. I was just highly impressed with how you were able to engage stakeholders and get feedback. So it's a good plan in a different setting and I guess brought together in a different way. So thank you all for your work. Thank you. Now, was it there?
Not too bad.
Thank you. Anybody else before we adjourn?
Oh, I think I don't have anything to say.
Oh, my goodness.
I think I've said quite enough.
We were gonna get you a piece of cake.
Well,
Still
no, I think I'm gonna have dessert. I had it already. I think I'll have dessert.
All right, well, thank you very much. We come to the moment of adjournment. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the one.
McQuarrie makes a motion. I have a second.
I'll second.
Dr. Snyder, second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We are adjourned. Thank you all so much.
That was not bad, right?
Oh, well, it was.